Hello, my name is King Arthur and I will tell you the tale of the sword in the stone. This tale starts in England, many years ago before I was king. My father King Uther was the king. He fell in love with a woman called Igraine, but she was already married to the Duke of Cornwall. But Merlin, the king's wizard, cast a spell over Uther, allowing him to visit Igraine when the Duke was not home. Some years later, after the Duke of Cornwall had died, King Uther and Igraine fell in love, and had a son. King Uther had promised Merlin that he would have his son, and raise him to be the future king of England. His son, Arthur, grew up in a castle, thinking his father was Sir Hector, a knight. Sir Hector already had a son, Kay, who was a little older than Arthur. The two boys grew up together, thinking they were brothers. Kay often teased and bullied Arthur, because he was younger than him. But Arthur learned to stand his ground. When Kay was old enough, he became a knight, and Arthur became his squire. In distant Tintagel the king died, leaving a rumor that he had once had a son, who disappeared. However, there were no heirs to the throne and people began to argue, who would rule the kingdom. Merlin watched as the trouble grew, before he went to the archbishop, and told him to let the people come to his church and let them sing. The archbishop did, and by Christmas the people were gathered. After they had sung, they discovered something weird. Where a tree had stood earlier, now a stone with a sword in the courtyard stood. On the stone there were letters in gold written in the rock, "He who draws this sword is England's rightful king." The people tried to pull out the sword, but nobody could. In anger, they went to a tournament to calm down. The knights battled to win the lady's favor and to gain fortune and fame. This was Kay's first tournament, and he had brought his father and Arthur. As they arrived, Kay saw the best knights had swords. "Arthur, I need a sword, go find me one." Arthur nodded and went to find a sword. He was passing the courtyard when he saw the sword in the stone. "That will do," he said to himself. Arthur took the sword from the stone, and hurried back to Kay and Sir Hector. "Look, father," Kay said. "It's the sword from the stone. Does that mean I am the rightful king of England?" Kay asked. "What does he mean?" Arthur asked. Sir Hector looked at them both before telling them to follow him. They went back to the courtyard and put the sword back in the stone. "Now pull it out," he said, and Kay tried, but nothing happened. Arthur tried and the sword came out. "So what?" "It's a knack, that's all." Hector told him to read the writing. "He who draws this sword is England's rightful king." "Oh no, please no. Must I do all those deeds, and rights and wrongs?" Arthur asked. "You must, for you are king of England now," Sir Hector said.